If you're stepping into the role of a second shooter at a wedding, this video is for you. Today I'm breaking down everything you need to know to not only survive being a great second shooter, but to absolutely crush it. And trust me, these tips I'm about to share are what will set you apart and make you the standout go-to second photographer for every wedding photographer in your industry. So let's dive in and make sure you're fully prepared to rock that wedding day. I've been a second shooter myself, and that's in fact how I started out shooting weddings. In 2009, I assisted several photographers in Vancouver and in London, England, where I'm originally from. And for the first 2 years as a wedding photographer, all I did was assist and second shoot. In fact, first I held bags and reflectors, things like that, all the way to then helping the main photographer on a wedding day, and I was the second shooter. Now, I want to make one thing clear. Being a second shooter isn't just about getting amazing portfolio images. It's about supporting the primary photographer, getting amazing candids, and being the ultimate team player. My first tip for you is all around mindset and attitude. When you're a second photographer, the mindset needs to be one of professionalism and joy and energy of assisting that primary photographer. So that means not being a Approach the day with real professionalism and humility. One thing that I definitely want to make sure that you remember is that this opportunity to assist this photographer isn't about you. It's about you helping them get the best images they can get on a wedding day. This isn't about building your portfolio. For sure, you're going to get great images that are going to help your portfolio, but the main thing that you got to remember is this is about helping that wedding photographer shine and help them build their brand and get the best images that they can get for that couple on the wedding day. In order to do that, really study the primary photographer style. Have a browse through their Instagram. Ask them if they can share a gallery with you so that you can really understand how they set up a wedding day, how they flow throughout the day, and what kind of images they're delivering. It's a different mindset completely. This isn't two primary photographers shooting a wedding. This is a primary photographer shooting a wedding in their style, and you're simply assisting them and complementing their images. Your responsibilities, let's get into it. Number one is please stay out of the way. Now, with all due respect, I want to make sure that this isn't misinterpreted, but what I mean is when I'm taking photos of the couple or whatever's in front of me, you're not in my photo. From time to time, I know this happens, and that's all good. But keep your awareness to where that primary photographer is, what they're doing at that time. And the second thing around this is do not stand right next to the photographer on the wedding day. This is a massive no-no for me. If you're next to me, you're basically getting roughly the same shot I'm getting. And in my head, I'm kind of thinking you're just building your portfolio for yourself here at this moment. You're not assisting me. One of the things that I love when a second shooter is shooting other stories and other moments that are happening on the wedding day. For example, during cocktail hour, and they're shooting something that I know is a great moment, and I'm here shooting the couple or a moment at this angle, and I see them shooting that moment. I'm so grateful. That makes me so happy because I can't be in two places at once. No primary photographer can be in two places at once. So if you're capturing different moments at the same time, win. To me, you are an amazing second photographer. That's exactly what I want. Details and moments and candids from a different angle, but definitely a different story and moment. Woo, game changer. That's exactly what you want to be doing. The second thing that I say to all my second photographers is to check in with me. And this isn't me being like a diva or something like that, but check in with me from time to time and just see where I'm at with my energy and things like water and snacks. As a primary, there's so much going on in your head. You're thinking about so many things. All the responsibility is on you. So if somebody checks in with me and says, hey, have you had enough water? Is it time to take like a little break? Like take 5 to just have a banana, have a snack. Little reminders like that is golden because it's easy to forget. And then on the next day, you kind of suffer for that. At that point, I also request my second photographers to get the couple of glasses of water. Make sure that they're taken care of as well. Because it's a hot day potentially, and everyone could do with a glass of water on a hot day. Am I right? Yes. After the ceremony, one of the things that I love my second photographer to do is to help me organize the group shots. Now, my second shooter, what they're doing at this time is just making sure that they're organized. So that means people aren't wearing their shades. They're not bringing in their mobile phones and holding them in the photo. There's a little table to the side where everyone can place their belongings, and they can help me organize and make sure that everyone looks good and fresh so that I can focus on composition, making sure that I'm set up properly and I'm bringing the energy to get the best group photos for the couple on that wedding day. All right, onto some technical details for the day. Something that I always do with all my second shooters is make sure that your cameras are synced up to timeanddate.com. So you're going to go to timeanddate.com, look at your city and sync up both your bodies or all your bodies. Sometimes you're shooting with 3 bodies. That may be the case, but make sure they're all synced up to timeanddate.com. It's really easy to forget doing this, but it helps the primary photographer so much with post-processing after a wedding day. So sync up all your cameras. As a second shooter, you want to make sure that you have your own memory cards. So if you're shooting digitally, you want to have 2 empty slots on the wedding day for each body. Now, what this does is you can use your own SD cards in each camera, and then you want to take the primary shooter's SD cards and put them into the camera. That way, you have a copy, they have a copy, everyone has a copy, images are backed up, and at the end of the night, all you have to do is hand over your cards back to that primary, and when you get home, back up your own images, and they have a backup of your images. A few other technical things to go over is you want to make sure that all your gear is fully prepared, lenses are clean, all your cameras are fully set up, batteries are charged. You have everything you need. And the mindset that you want to adopt here is, if this was my wedding, what would I bring? Now, if that means additional lighting, additional batteries and flashes, please bring that because it helps the primary photographer so much. Now, before the wedding day, about a week before, you want to make sure that you have the timeline, you're familiar with the names of the couple, you know the locations of getting ready, the wedding and the reception. So take some time to go over the timeline. See it as if you're the second photographer. Where would you be at what time? And make sure that there's no questions that need to be asked on the wedding day because you're fully prepared. Now, ask the primary photographer for this timeline. And if you need, hop on a call, go through it with them. But make sure you feel comfortable and confident to assist them on the wedding day. Now, it goes without saying, you're handing over the SD cards at the end of the day, but back up your photos. Don't just rely on the primary to back up your photos. You want to have them backed up at home on at least 2 drives. The mindset is, if this was my wedding day, how would I back it up? One final technical part is the primary photographer may have a contract for you to sign. Please review this contract and make sure that you're comfortable with all of the terms and conditions. One of the things I've noticed shift in the wedding industry, and this may be a bit controversial, is a lot of second photographers showcasing the wedding and their work on a wedding day as if it was their own wedding. Now, this is not cool. This isn't your wedding. You're the assistant on the wedding day. You don't want to be taking stories and tagging in the vendors, sharing the location, things like that. Now, if this is cool with a primary photographer, by all means, go for it. But most likely, this isn't the case. And you want to be sharing things from the wedding day for sure, if that helps you and your brand and your story, but you don't want to be tagging anyone in. And you want to make sure that you've asked the primary photographer what is cool to share and what's not cool to share. Just to make things super clear, you're never ever documenting the wedding day and showcasing it like it was your own. Not cool. Okay, so if you're second shooting for me, one of the key things that I want you to do is document candid images. Candids are so important. I'm a documentary style wedding photographer. So candids upon candids is super key for me. Get to know your primary photographer and what's most important for them. For them, it could be details. It could be helping with lighting and flash on certain poses. Being there for whatever it is that they need is super key. So get to know your primary photographer, what they require, and make sure that you're covering exactly what they need on a wedding day. All right, photographers, let's talk about lighting because assisting with lighting is really key. For me, as a primarily documentary style photographer, I'm not using a lot of flash and extensive lighting setups. I'm not very editorial in the way that I shoot, but yes, there are some editorial style portraits that I take, but some photographers are quite heavy with flash, maybe reflectors, things like that. If that's the case, get to know that photographer, what's most important for them, and then be able to support them on the wedding day. If that's you and your style too, then you're probably a perfect match for that primary photographer. The final way to support the lead photographer is to be professional at all times. You may have a certain style of humor or jokes that work with you and your couples, but that may not work with the primary photographer and who you're working with. So be professional. If anything, avoid telling awkward jokes or something that could be potentially misinterpreted. You don't want to be rude. You don't want to be stressed out and bring any of your home drama or anything to the wedding day. This isn't about you. This is about the couple and them having the best day of their lives on the wedding day, or one of the best days of their lives on the wedding day. So please leave the drama at home, come professional, come clean, come correct. Be where the primary photographer isn't, and go look for those stories. Go look for those moments. Have fun. Remember that you don't have a lot of the same pressure that the primary photographer has, and you're there to just complement their images. If the photographer is at the ceremony and shooting from the front, maybe you could get to the back and shoot a wide. If you're in a church and there's a balcony and the photographer again is at the front, you can be above, shooting down low. There are such beautiful moments that maybe is happening with grandma when she sees her granddaughter or grandson getting married, that a primary photographer isn't necessarily always able to capture. Look for those moments and capture that. That's what an amazing second shooter can do. And it works wonders for the primary photographer because they're making a really well-composed, well-curated gallery for that couple. Now, second shooting is an amazing opportunity to learn, grow, and contribute to the industry. There are second shooters who I get recommended all the time. And there's a reason for that, because they're good people. They shoot creative work. They're there to complement the primary photographer, and they come with professionalism and humility on a wedding day. Let your name ring out within the industry as being a great second shooter, and it will get you more jobs. That primary photographer then is also more likely to recommend you as another primary on a wedding day. If they're booked for a certain wedding day and they've worked with you and seen how calm and professional you are and how creative you can be, they're going to refer you. If you're just getting started, know that you can have a long and amazing career, and starting off with second shooting is the best way into the industry. Okay, I wanted to end with some closing thoughts, and that really is, when you're second shooting, please make sure that you align with the primary photographer's vision for the wedding day, and that you really understand their style and their aesthetics and the best way that you can complement them and their wedding photography work. I really made this video so that you can understand your role better as a second shooter, and that you can contribute to the wedding photography industry in a positive and impactful way. There may be certain things that I've shared today that you disagree with or isn't the way that you run your business, and that's totally cool. If there are some differences, let me know what they are in the comments below. I'm looking to learn too, but I really want to make sure that we're on the same page as an industry and that we can grow and evolve together. In conclusion, make sure that you use these tips to really excel and grow as a wedding photographer. Let me know what your main tip was that you're going to use and apply to your next wedding day. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. Peace.